Hello and good evening. Welcome to Ubuntu channel. This is Ubuntu Lifestyle every Monday, 20 hours or 20, 30 sometimes, but all the same. We are always here to just bring you someone interesting all the time. And this Monday is no different from the rest. But we have a special guest this evening, and of course, it's going to be an interesting show. Though I'm not alone today, I'm with my co-host Himba. Himba, good evening.
Good evening, Rollins, and good evening, viewers, wherever you are watching us from. Good evening.
Okay, be sure that you can always leave a comment on whatever platform that you're watching us, be it on Twitter, on Facebook, or on YouTube, and we shall gladly read your comments live and direct. And I think it's high time we introduce the guest that we have this evening, Himba.
Uh, in our studio this evening, we have a very interesting guest. I'm not going to say much about him. I'm just going to say, actually, we are supposed to have two of them with a brother, but he's committed somewhere with other duties. But nevertheless, we have our dear brother in our studio. His name is Andrew. Andrew, welcome to Ubuntu channel.
Oh, thank you so much.
Vasato mitambula.
Twarumba.
Ngoli buti buzuba ali mtu likomenye guba andi nyogo chindi chino.
Buzuba urigabo tukupya byoguno. It is hot.
Gulapya basa but ko muzgogo temwa kuyibira.
I'd rather have snow than sun.
Than the heat. Anyway, nevertheless, it's really a blessing and it's a privilege for us to have you on Ubuntu channel. Over to you, Lawrence.
Okay, thank you so much, Himba. Andrew, I think a lot of people know you together with your brother. Together they call you the Tonga brothers. And these are guys who are actually whites, brothers who are whites, and speak so much fluent Tonga. First, I think we'll start from the basics. Where were you born and raised, and how was your upbringing like?
Well, I was born in Abilene, Texas. So I was born in the States. And that's when my parents were going to college. And then I don't remember, but my parents became missionaries. And so they moved to Zambia for a while. Actually, my mother is still here. She's a full-time missionary. She helps with babies. And basically growing up, you get immersed in certain cultures, in certain languages. And so you kind of pick up things differently, I guess.
Which part of Zambia was that?
Small town in Kalomo, Southern Province.
Lomo, Southern Province, awesome. And I should guess that is exactly where you learned your Tonga from.
Yes, correct. I was lucky enough to have some friends that would teach. You know, they would kind of correct me if I have some things wrong or if I said something wrong. Even to this day, I still have some difficulties in certain things, but with my younger brother and I speaking it almost like whenever we're together, that's all we do. We always speak it. And then we actually say something. I'll kind of reach out to people to say, hey, is this word correct or is this word? They'll say, oh no, try it this way, try it that way. So that's kind of how we learn, I guess.
Andrew, during your upbringing as a child, what really was so exciting and what really did you appreciate about Zambia and the Tonga culture, to be specific?
Specific, I guess, just the people. You know, everybody is very friendly, and I'm one person where I love to learn. Something new. I'd love to learn something new, and learning cultures is something I love. And so, I have friends where it's like, I can give an example. In South Africa, I met some people and they would be speaking, and I was like, teach me something, and they'll kind of say a couple words here and there. And I'm like, oh, I think this is what you said. And they'll be like, whoa, how did you pick that up so fast? And so, but one of the best things that I loved about growing up is like in this area, it's like you do things that, or I did things that kids these days don't get. These days everybody's got cell phones, everybody's got internet, everybody's got all that stuff, where we didn't. So we had to keep ourselves entertained, whether you go hunting or as kids, you get into some type of trouble, or maybe you go kutoronga and so oh yeah, that was a must, and so just things like that. You learn how to make different traps. And so these days, like I have a 17-year-old now where I'd be telling him like, oh, this is how we did this. And he'd be like, how do you know that? I was like, I just different friends, So that's one of the things I love about the culture of especially Tonga is, that people are so friendly. But one thing that I noticed is the Tonga people are always shy. They would go into a big city and then suddenly, no Tonga, it's become English, Nyanja, Bemba, or something. They don't want to speak Tonga because they don't want to be made fun of. And I'm just like, why? Why? And so it's a beautiful language. They're beautiful people. Why wouldn't you want to speak your... And for me, it's not my mother tongue because my mom is not Tonga. But why wouldn't you want to speak your language? The one you grew up with. Like, you need to be proud of it. Say, this is who I am. And that's one of the beautiful things I like about Zambia is, the different tribes, different language. Sometimes I guess, but mission. Sometimes you had so many eyes on you, so so there are certain things that we were gusisa, I guess.
Okay, over to you, Lawrence.
Okay, Andrew, apart from Tonga, is there in this ngomaga doba momwendo?
I can understand Nyanja and a little bit of Bemba. So I've managed to pick up, I'm lucky enough to have some friends that are Bemba as well. And so they would say something to me and I'll be like, okay, that one passed me. So explain. And then they'll tell me, then I was like, okay, it's locked up now. I remember this thing. So I picked up Nyanja and a little bit of Bemba as well.
Andrew, just to take you back from where I've come from, I'm sorry, I'll take you back. As I've said, I would love the viewers to know, what have you done? Who is Andrew? What are you doing at the moment?
At the moment, I'm just vacationing. For the past 20 years, I've been working in news in the States.
Okay.
So I'm used to I'm normally the behind the scenes person. So I worked as a news operations manager / video production. And so that's what I did for the past, I guess 22 years now. So, I used to direct newscasts. I used to direct sports events. I was lucky to help co-direct a short film with one of my friends in the States.
Okay.
And so I just needed, everybody's getting older. Our parents are getting older. So I just wanted to be around, parents to say, oh, just hang some time. Let's show my kids have fun with their grandparents and all that. So right now I'm just in Zambia, just relaxing.
Okay.
And,
Lawrence.
I think I want to just give you a scenario. Here you are. I think everybody when they see you, they'll be like, "Oh, that guy looks like he's white." And obviously, someone will come and approach you. They want to talk to you. They'll talk to you in English. And hey, bro, hey, big man, or things like that. How are you? And then you respond in Tonga. Like, have you ever had that kind of a situation? And how is the reaction like?
Well, lately, because some people do recognize me, I've had some people where they will say, "Hey, I think I saw it." They'll send me a text on Facebook to say, "Hey, I think I saw you at Choppies today. Was that you?" And I'm like, "Yes, that was me." And they're like, "Oh man, I should have come to say hi." I'm like, "Yeah, come say hi." But a lot of people will say, you know, you look, because I'm so big, everybody's just like, "You look scary in person." And so I'm just like, I am the friendliest person that you can ever meet. I love to meet new people. I love to hang out. But one of the great things that I like to do, especially in Livingston, there was one time I went to Livingston, and I think it's Mukuni, where they sell curios and all that kind of stuff.
Mukuni Market.
Yes, Mukuni Market. And I was looking at some things, and what they started, between the two, they started talking like, "Oh, you know, this guy's from the States, you know, I'm going to try to get a little bit more money than normal." So
So they were speaking in which language?
they were speaking between Tonga and Nyanja. And so they were speaking, and I'm just sitting there. I was like, "Oh, how much is this?" And then they said, "Oh, it's going to be," I forget how much it was. And then I responded that, their eyes got so big. Their eyes got so big that literally I almost walked away with it for free because they were so embarrassed.
Believe me, I would have just stayed away and I was not going to continue that conversation.
Yeah, bro,
So that's the funny part. And like, there was another time where my brother and we had come together. This was before Facebook blew up and all that. Yeah. I think it was like in 2017 or 2018, we had come together, and we were walking through Livingston Airport, and we were just speaking Tonga, and everybody was just like, yeah, they were just like, "What's going on here?" Like, we've never heard two people speaking that fluent and actually just speak Tonga without English. And I'm just like, yeah, that's, you know, we met some immigration guys over there. They were very friendly guys, you know, and they're just like, "Oh, you guys, you know, how did you know this? How did you learn this?" And we just explained to them how we learned it. So that's basically that, you know. Even to this day, you know, my younger brother, you know, and we always speak it, you know, and we do make fun of our older brother. We have an older brder, but he cannot speak it. So, so
was he brought up here? Was he brought up in Zambia as well?
He was brought up the same way, where it's like in the States and in Zambia, in the States, Zambia. So he was brought up the same way, but he never picked it up. But now, you know, he's been in Zambia for a little bit of time, where now he can pick some words. As long as you slow it down, he'll pick it up. Other than that, if you're fast, he wouldn't know what to do.
By the way, which mission was mom and dad kubali kubelega, or where mom is still serving?
Go Namyanga mission in Kalongo.
Namyanga mission. Okay.
Yes.
Now, I'm more interested in your childhood.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know childhood, and especially because you were different. So I'm sure you experienced a lot of nice things, a lot of experience. Some people, I mean, wanting to get closer to you. What really, one of the things you did, which was so African, and that was putting you in trouble to mom and dad? And who was the noticed one among you guys?
Well, we both were naughty left and right. Like, older brother experience first, and then younger brother comes behind. So, so I'm trying to think what got me in big trouble. Because I don't. No, well, one of the big things was, my mom always said, she wasn't really supporting to say, "Agamiyama gavwime,"
Eh,
but she understood that it was to basically got us out of the house. But the
yeah.
one thing she said, the one thing even to this day, jire mumutwe, is gutwajijaya, weredeo tujirie, don't waste it.
Mama.
So so that was embedded in my head to where it's just like you see something, you're like, as Ejo Pepe, you know. And so and so no. So if it wasn't going to be eaten, you try to go to Jale, opposite direction, let's just go. So, but get it in trouble as kids. I think one of the biggest things, like I think good dwayavio, like twagadi good maningi, and the guy over here, good dwaya, you really don't know how to swim. Inga mudi gujatansi mano.
Yeah.
And so mama was always worried about that. Go to Mainkira. Who's a good swimmer? Who's this? Who's that? Who's that? And I'm just like, the next day Mainkarimu.
Na mwaliwunga kumulonga na mwaliwunga swimming pool.
Ronga that were behind the mission. And so even to this day, there was a time I drove by it and I told my kids, I'm like, look, this is where I learned how to swim. This hole right here.
Yeah.
And all my kids are just like, really, Dad? I was like, yes, this is where I learned how to swim. We used to try to go in, which was dangerous, but Gugana, you don't know better. You think you know everything, but
Yeah.
I think let me ask. So Mariuso anajid bunu so.
Oh yeah. We used to my brother twalikuwa plastic, trying to explain that to my kids. Mapanga ma dan rope. They're like, what's a dan rope? So it's just like, So showing them, Jeff, what I just male, because I had my older son. He's never played soccer or football, in his life, and so he's trying to pick it up. So our my brother, he uses his big toe. He's like, Dad, how don't you kick the ball with your big toe? And I was like, son, the way we had soccer balls back in the day, if you tried, we juncha so kuchoga dad, and so we had. Yeah, so we had to learn how to kick without using our big toe. So he's just like, I see. So that's kind of, mafaya, round us, all that stuff.
Wow. That is fantastic.
Wow. That's Zambian. That extra Zambian.
Yeah.
I think to our viewers out there, if you're watching us live on your whatever social media platform, please kindly leave a comment or a message there which we can read directly to Andrew. Or if you have a question to ask, you want to say something to Andrew, please, wherever you're watching us from, just leave a comment right there and we shall be able to pick it up. Andrew, in this age where a lot of Zambians are trying to run away from the Zambian culture and embrace these European Western cultures and all that, you choose to show the Zambian in you, even if you are not born here, but you grew up here, spent some kind of a number of years here in Zambia, and you are so proud of that, and you are just so willing to show it off. What drives you to do that?
What drives me to do that is, like I said at the beginning, where I don't know why people get embarrassed, of who they are. And you will not live, life's too short. So you will not live a happy life if you're hiding a part of who you are. And so I encourage people, like Oromubantubia, there was a guy there named Wagasigide Gunamianga, and he saw me, Gunamianga. and he came to ground, wagari gubimba, like he was shaking. And I'm like, are you okay? He's like, man, I'm one of your biggest fans in the world. Can I talk to you? I'm like, yeah, let's talk, And it's just like, we created this group, Bujigoro, with Tongas, just because we saw what you and your brother were doing. And I was just like, yes, that you're supposed to do that, be proud of who you are. Teach Amwiske other cultures of who you are instead of making fun of each other. Teach each other who to say what so. Oh, you so. Oh, you so. And so that's one of the things what I love to do. And when was this? I think I got it last August. Dagazos Siga, and I went to every year. Barajta, there's a medical mission that they do, Western Province.
Oh, okay.
And so I was lucky enough to tag along on that. And the Lozi culture was amazing. Like, picked up a couple words here and there, but the people there were friendly. What does this mean? What does this mean? What does this mean? And they were friendly, very friendly and very kind to say, oh, we do this here, we do this. And I was like, oh, And so that opens up doors of communication between tribes. So, that's one of the biggest things for me and my younger brother that we do.
Andrew, you are so approachable, and you've got this humble personality. What motivates you to be who you are and to have this humble personality? Where do you draw it from? Is it from mom? Is it from dad? Is it from the community? Where do you draw this humble approach you have?
I can say it's from both my mom and my dad, because like one thing that I always say, even to my kids, I always say it takes more energy to be angry at the world or everybody around you than to love. So be kind to everybody, because you never know. You just never know. Mutu that's coming approaching you, on something that you don't expect to happen to you. And so, the way I want to be treated is the way I'm going to treat you. So if I treat you nicely, I expect that back to me. And so that's just one of the biggest things I've always chose, because I even tell my kids, you choose to be angry or you choose to love. You choose to be frustrated or you choose not to be frustrated. And so it's a choice. And so I choose to be who I am.
True.
So I've had people say you're very friendly. And then I have some friends of mine that are say you are a troublemaker, and so, yeah. And so it just depends on who you are, I guess.
Yeah. Andrew, if with your permission, I'm going to ask you a personal question, if you allow me. Okay. You've talked about Ivana. Inamwatwala muntu ogu Zambia na muntu ogu Mangiland.
Sorry, say that again. Azokatina. I didn't hear the part.
You've talked about the kids here. Hena banyina mbagu Zambia na mbagogu.
Banyina mbamu Zambia bia. We actually grew up on the same mission.
Okay.
So so she's from here.
Oh. So are you confirming that Zambian women were beautiful?
But murari senda maningi.
I didn't expect that from you, Andrew.
What?
I didn't expect
that. We promise we are going to change our approach. The next time you meet us, that's a challenge I'm putting up. Lawrence.
Okay. I'll take you now to like we spoke just earlier on about the pride that you show in the Zambian culture and being Zambian and all that. Um, what is the proudest moment you've ever had in life where to be associated with Zambia? What happened? Like what was happening in Zambia? What did Zambia do that made you so proud and you could say, I came from there?
I think it was the 2013 AFCON.
2012, I get.
Yeah, the 2012 AFCON when Zambia won Africa Cup. I was at because of the time difference, I was at the TV station and I'd be watching it while, news and stuff are going on in the background. And whenever we won that, I literally ran through the whole newsroom, ran out, got into my car, drove home, honking all the way home. Like it was such a, everybody. I had a good friend of mine who was just like, oh, they just won the Africa Cup. And I was like, yes. And I came back to work. I had everything Zambian on me. And I was like, nobody talked to me today. I'm up here. So
I tell you, if you were to ask each and every Zambian on that day, there are different and various experiences that happened, especially on the final. People were so scattered everywhere in the, people are in their places, there are different towns and all that, but it was like each and every town experienced that moment in a very unique way, such that if you can bring anybody to tell you about that experience, they will tell you it was quite different. That night was just magical. Everything was just different. And you'll be like, wow, that's what happened where you were. But you were also experiencing it differently and all that. And it's also encouraging to hear the part where people from people associated with Zambia, how they experienced it out there in various countries and all that. And we are so proud to know that you also felt that excitement. And I think going into social media as a Tonga Boo, first and foremost, what inspired the name Tonga Boo? Were people calling you that from childhood?
No, honestly, nobody called us anything. And it was just one of those things where we were doing a video for GC. Cabo Tramvana GC and Ungonoyu, like Mpande and all those guys. So we were doing a video, and then one time also one of our friends was getting married. So we did a quick video just to say congratulations and all that. And then GC sent a text saying, hey, can I talk to you guys? I was like, yeah, let's talk. So we started talking. And then people on Facebook, because everything on the internet went to that, like, oh no, they're ad-libbing. They're not really saying the words. There's somebody else who's doing this, but they're just putting it over. And so then we had to do another video to say, that no, then you said what you want about it. We're the ones that are actually talking, we're the ones that are in the video, we're actually speaking. And then we started just kind of saying to my story struggle to, and all that stuff. And people are just like, okay, I think these guys are for real now. Like they actually have experienced certain things. And it's like, yeah, that's who we are, So
actually, Lawrence, on that one, even me, if I wasn't like maybe Tonga, Ndagaligagide, the first time Ninda Mitamba, Ndagagaga, but then I had to start marrying the movement of the lips, Amajumbwazwa. So then that's the way I was able to say, but if you look at the movement, my lips, my voices, alatainga, I think they are the ones speaking. But it really took me time because they're fluent. And and actually, even when you talked about Himba, you talked about the games you played in childhood. Actually, that made it worse for me to doubt you.
Yeah, I guess it's just, it's, I don't know. Like it's just this is what people say. Ajimuntu, when somebody's stressed,
Yeah.
or when you are thinking, what language do you think in? If you are going to think about something, what language do you think in? Do you think in English? Do you think in Tonga? Do you think in Nyanja? When you are processing things, what language do you think in? And so we did that video. We did
For
it.
me,
Yes, Lawrence.
I was saying the thinking process actually it mostly determines the language that you are so comfortable with. So if you are going to think in English, it means that you're more comfortable in English. If you're going to think in Tonga, then you are more comfortable with Tonga. I think that's how I look at it.
Yeah, but how about when you get frustrated? What comes out of your mouth when you get frustrated? What language comes out?
Jakomuzwa.
Yeah, and so it's like because we've had people in the States, like we would go to the store. Like we did a video of us going to a store one day and we were talking and everybody's just like, because in the States there's a lot of Spanish, from Mexico or the Southern America, countries. And everybody's looking at us like, that's not Spanish. Where's that from? And like, oh, Africa. And they're like, how do you know African language? And so then you go in the process of saying, this is how we know it. This is how, in A, B, C, D. So that's kind of how, but like I literally say, I think if you were to find my younger brother and I, we're always speaking Tonga because, like I said, it's a language that, even to this day, Gurima Bara, that's Arashupa, like, because it's like tongue twisted or, certain people can do certain things, so we just constantly try them.
Ina ndianda honest answer. Monka who states takunemu huya abantu muchitonga ukamuli mu public.
Sometimes it happens, Sometimes it happens, well, you see something that you like, you're just like, I like this thing here, then you move on. But again, a lot of times, somehow you know, so we try to, go
mwali janagale mu situation yoti awa muyanda kwamba something but then tamuyandi utangwe oyo ina ndawo tulatija butaga gambo but yanda wamba then
the good thing in the States is it's very rare kutwajana muntu mutonga. The place where we stay, there's maybe 4 people that I know, that speak Tonga. Wow. So, and so whenever we met each other, we're just like super excited, talking in Tonga, or like every time we see each other, we're just Tonga,
Yeah. Andrew, much do we appreciate that you really appreciate the Tonga culture and not forgetting the Zambia at large, and you really appreciate the Zambian people whom by now we are convinced that this is the family you've embraced as
yes.
your own family. But I think there are certain things or certain things which you struggled. I'm sure even now, because you've got 2 mixed cultures anyway, and even the environment. So no Mligu Africa, Mligu States, there's that. So what things do you struggle with to live with?
One of the biggest things for me was adjusting to you call somebody either a auntie or a banco or a whatever, like, but then when you go to the States, like I remember first time when I was working in the news, the main anchor, like he was the executive producer, the main anchor. Yeah. And I called him Mr. Bob. He's like, my name's Bob. And I just looked at him and just like,
Yeah.
So it took my older brother to say, "Oh, Bob, you need to understand. He's come, even though he's American, he also has a Zambian side of him. Yagoti urade mega, bapati." So that's one of the biggest struggles I have. Orobana Bangubia right now, a lot of times, if I call somebody by their first name, they automatically do the same thing because that's the culture that they've grown up in. But one at the same age will not call somebody by the first name, which is Ngari Mupati.
Yeah.
And so, but the good thing about I like about people, they actually embrace that because then they understand it. Oh, ababana tabariba goguno. So they're from a different world. So to them, this is normal.
Yeah.
So let me come in.
Go ahead, Lolly.
Andrew, you've created so much content, especially for social media, that a lot of people have appreciated. Some people look at it as comedy. Some people look at it as a way of appreciating the Tonga culture. Some people look at it as a way you try to connect with Zambia as a place that you lived in and all. Now, there is also, on the other hand, an influx of a lot of comedians looking for content, especially. I think you and your brother's input would be very much appreciated. Would you be open to working with some of these comedians, social media content creators, and all that in creating some content for maybe for comedy or for just to just encourage Zambians to be Zambians?
Yeah, definitely. It would be honestly be an honor to do that because these guys, it's like I say, it's a profession, and they work hard in doing certain things. And with what my younger brother and I do, and I guess a lot of comedy is certain experiences. Bantu though, like I said, so we speak it, and people that brings up their childhood to say, oh my gosh, I saw what so mwatora ng'ombe munzi mumuronga mwachata gumijira zamudonsa. You go like people don't say that kind of stuff anymore, and so it's just it's just different things. But yes, it's something that we talked about it to say, yeah, actually it would be a cool thing to where we can actually work with some of these good guys and say, oh, we can learn from them and maybe they can learn a thing or two from us as well.
Okay.
You can go in, Himba.
Oh. Mewo kainge mewo tandiandi ama professional ya Lawrence mewo ndilipi yogo wangu. So ndilipi yogo wangu. Mwali kunka wawe hana nkolola. Kwa ni nkolola kumonza.
I never went to Kumonze, Gugujita, Nkolola or anything like that. Never went to those.
You never went to those?
No, I never experienced that one.
Now, I'm still coming back to our sister-in-law. Our sister-in-law is Zambian. Is she Tonga?
Mutonga. I've been there a couple of times, yes. Okay. Yes, I've been there a couple of times.
And what activity do you enjoy doing there?
Just, what can I say? Meeting, again, I'm just cowboy. The one thing that I noticed is my dialects, Tonga, they are very different. And so, their Tonga is very different from Jitonga. I consider the Tonga I speak street level Tonga. I don't consider it deep level Tonga. Jitonga jagu monse, jitokarea, there's Jitonga jagu just Zambezi, there's Zimbabwe Tonga, there's and so sometimes she'll say some things and I'll be like, oh, what does this mean? And she'll be like, oh, this is what it means. So I've actually learned a lot from that side of the family as well.
Okay. I would my other question is, you've talked about people vala ansoni iwamba ko bahila, especially to Batonga te awa motushuta titula ku hansoni wamba ola jitonga mwatushuta, but we should be proud of who we are and where we come from. We should talk about our culture. Buli bantu Batonga banji, not only Batonga banji bana Zambia mbwa kwelela byondege na onka ku UK na onka ku America gabajili mundege accent ilajincha. Is that possible?
No, they choose to do that. Unless, this is what I say, unless kuturi mwana ya 5 knowing Kagu states, ponya wakaragwe ya 10 years, yes, there's a chance urajiruba jintu. But kutukori mupatigare, veg. Ngakuri pangirabio.
So baya batujengabia.
Bajengabio, because especially in this day and age, gurima cell phone. Ugajire kuita watu waunganda buti, no watu mwabuga buti. You know, so back in the day when there was hardly any phones, I can understand, especially now Rimwana, you know, you grew up in a different culture, different world than yes in Gawajiruba. But Gorimu Pachigare 18, 19, 20 to Wajiruba.
Tajiko accent ujincha so nga batujengabia abantu te.
They train Guti Wabama accents.
But what message do you have to such people?
Be proud of who you are. Like, it's that simple. You know, remember where you came from. You know, Sena, are your parents going to be proud of you, Guti or Wajincha? You decide to ignore what they've been through to do you. So it's just like, Kutubama Batata Batonga. Be proud of who they are. You know, that
joga onisha mama ndina kwamba ulamba bubumbi ndila jincha olokuliba mama bajiga na mundioli. I'd say no. Hey, mundioli me, why don't eat mundioli?
Cool. Unless you're allergic to mundioli, Korea. That's one of the things good states that we always crave. Like, you know, let's go get okra. So aturiege, but it's not the same. Like it's different. True. Especially in Simayagutwa. But boy, it's just a different taste, you know. And so
Thank you so much, Andrew. Let's have a short break, then we'll come back. We'll meet on the other side.
All right.
The director, are you ready?
Kupempa kuli ba minister ba youth.
No one to Mwabuga. Oh, Linda first to religion. No one to Gamwamba Mwabuga. Anyway, I was told a lot of people, first the Tonga Ogandima, at why are you the bad child? Why Mr. So Mushontawago and zin. No one to me, I'm a good influence on people. I'm except Zirezu, I'm a good person. Magaga. Anyway, I know everybody's been waiting for these results. They got to Sunday Via. Magumona. I'm a trouble person. No. Diriga what? Mane mutu Dagareta tunji. Number 2.
No want to drink Nintovoro.
Anyway.
Mamba.
What?
Nintovoro.
Bantu barigwambati utachitobora netuka mbore uri kuzikunetuka ati wanorata ra muntu Kufra. I don't know if that's what I want. Wanetuga.
Okay.
People. No man to. Go.
Guys.
Me, I'm just a loving older brother. Digitability.
Not even bad influence.
Bad influence.
Good influence. Nintovoro drink. After 13 minutes, or only gumavi also. Kasumogangu unyamoga.
That is sumo. Wambwa.
Guys.
Ponya mwambandi me what in mewo ndi meditiani. I'm a bad influence. How am I a bad influence?
Reza turerege.
Huh? Oh, nyimbo.
Whoever came up with this drink, Reza turerege mwami kambo.
Twende sovana. Ambone. Twende sovana. Botu jita. Twende sovana. Bobo, you know, man. Life is short. You're supposed to have fun.
Bombo.
Anyway, at the marriage out, I want to go. At the power of Friday. You are alive. What you come come by so this mad comments at make sure I know musamu drink a lot of water. Atarana mutu one to go. Ataramu.
Okay, that was a snippet of what the Tonga Booze can do. And trust me, I was laughing in the background here.
There was a serious conversation in that
audio. As you have seen. How many did you take for your brother?
How many
did you take for your brother?
In total, I had 3.
Then 2.
Oviro dagapa mbore, yomwe dagapa mwenzi mari uri akuchoma.
Atile samurele wakapanga drink.
Yeah, like I said, when we did the first video, I was just telling him that you know, dagamva guti drinky. It activates you. It does this and all this. So let's just do a quick video about it. And so, but as I told you, like gurima baramwi that we learn. So, when I asked him what and he said no, I don't know what this. So then I had to explain it to him. And so, the level of Tonga between us is a little different as well because Gurima Barangendi Zingatazi. Gurima Barangazi Genditazi. So it's just teaching each other.
Yeah, true.
And so we decided to do that video. And that day was cold. Like when I say it was cold, there was snow on the ground. That vehicle was cold. And so we decided to do the first video. And then we posted it. We were kind of seeing the reaction of what people are going to say. And apparently it took a liking and everybody's just like, okay, we need a part 2. And so we waited. I was going to do it in 24 hours. So we waited 48 hours, 2 days later. I was like, I'm bored. Facebook, let's do the second part. And so the beginning part, like I even told them, I was like, first did you Andy Tongaoge me first, Andy Tongaoge Cambo, a lot of my personal friends, good friends, they'll send me a text. Go to you, why are you a bad influence?
But I agree with them. From that video, I literally agree with them.
So, but as Mbore says, I'm not a bad influence. I'm just a loving person. That I but hey, this is what people are saying about this. I need to know. And so we were just laughing about it and we had fun. We just had fun, and that's why I say like life's too short to be angry about everything. Just have fun.
True.
Asking you on the side, who is the bad influence to the other between the two of you?
I think we're both equal because There's some times where he'll say, "Hey, I want to do A, B, C, D," and I'm like, Pepe Otajito, or then I'd say, "Hey, I'd run things by him, he'll run things by me." We run things by Mupatiwesu, and then Mupatiwesu will be like, I wouldn't do that. And so we're a very, very close family. And one of the things, like I think there was a comment on Facebook that I saw where somebody's just like, okay, Murima brothers nyobo murayandana. Like we've never seen the type of relationship that two brothers have like you guys. Like it's genuine, it's not fake, it's not easy. And I responded, Wambat, yes, I truly love this. I truly love him. He's my younger brother. Do we get into disagreements? We do. Any family does, but we don't build walls with that disagreement. The wall is down. There's always a clear path between the two of us. There's a clear path between Sewamu Patiwesu. So one of the biggest things that I always say, even to this day, orogubana bangu, even sometimes bana basketball or soccer or whatever, I always tell them, speak your mind, koza, come tell me what's on your mind. Bana bangu, I tell my kids, I'm like, listen, I'm not a perfect parent. We make mistakes and I own up to my mistakes. So zimwisi ndansa dragurubizia mwanangu. But what I need you to do is come to me in a respectful manner and say, Badadi, this is what you said. This is what you did. It hurt my feelings. It did this. And I'm just like, when you speak your mind, you don't build that wall. And so, because then that's what this world comes to. A lot of times they'll say, I can say to Lawrence Guta, Himba wadi wamba A, B, C, D. When instead of Lawrence to step up, guri winka to that person, wabi kabganda, not raponabuti, And so, yes, and so that's one of the biggest things for us is just like our relationship is very, very genuine. We truly love each other, and we'll always be there to support each other.
Yeah, Andrew. Mebondambagale uti mebondina kubuya byotya tuli personal wanini so gondinyelela byomugweso
no, you're good.
A Facebook wow. You've got a large follower which we both agreed to. I'm sure kulitusimbika kwamba uti sometimes ladies would be naughty wanting to engage with you on personal level, even maybe say I like you. And this is very common for us. I'll play with him. How do you react? Or do you ever receive such? And if you do, how do you react to such?
I do receive such, and I look at myself with I need to move to be so at the age of 40, almost 41, that I need condijiri. So it honestly doesn't bother me, because you have that everywhere. And so it doesn't bother me one bit. I respond accordingly and basically move on from there. And so, but the one thing that I've noticed is social media has brought out a lot of courage to people. As I call it, keyboard courage. But I agwamba in person, but gusura screen bagari.
Gutaipa. Gumoniwe so kwende kuhamba byeshe ndianda. Dani unawundlanga.
Yeah.
So literally they are there and you just have to respond according to the way that information has been displayed.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Thank you so much, Andrew. Basically be who you are and don't forget the way you were brought up by your parents and if you went to Olimupati accent taijinchi soto hiva tona ubabona tona kuiva oyu tuve jabi oyu No. So between the two culture, the Western culture and the Zambian culture, where do you think you've benefited so much as an individual?
Honestly, it just depends what kind of trouble I got into. So
That's being smart now.
so I had to pick and choose which one which one benefited the situation. So whichever one benefited the situation, I agenda tore. So I learned things equally from both cultures. So it's just, yeah, like I said, even to this day, at almost 41 now, we are all still learning. You never stop learning. And so learning different cultures is the way to go. Like Iniga would be a better place if we learned each other's cultures and respected each other's cultures. I don't have to agree with everything you say, but I need to respect you. Well, but okay, this is what my friend J culture yago. So let me respect that. Even though I don't believe in it, I respect that. Same thing with me. As Chatayandi on me, but as long as they respect it, we are good.
Oh, that's interesting. I think, Andrew, as we are going towards the end of the program, I will ask you to just run us through the social media platforms where people watching can find you, or those who have not yet seen anything from you yet can find you and probably get to interact with you.
The Facebook page, that's the one that we're mostly on, is Facebook, and it's called Tonga Boo Brothers. And so you will find us on there a lot of times. And if you send a text through there, it literally comes straight to me or Sterling. But there's also a phone number on there. I think I have a Zambian line on there. That literally is on WhatsApp. It's on everything, and you can literally click on it, and you'll be talking directly to me. A lot of times I won't answer it if it's a phone call, because I don't answer. A lot of times I don't answer numbers I don't know. But if you send a text first, then I'll respond, and then we can chat, and I get to know who the person is, where they're from, what city, what town, different things. And so, I've been invited to say, come to Lusaka, we'll go do this, I'm like, I'd love to do that. One was just like, come to Chezi. I was like, okay, if God's willing to do that, I'll head that way, So
again, I'll ask you to say this in Tonga, so that everybody out there can see the Tonga in you for the last time. Obviously, we're coming to towards the end of the program. Just tell everybody out there to be proud of being who they are and where they come from.
Bagamba guti, kamuboterwa komagazwa. Not good senda kwambara now ri mutonga kwambara chitonga, now ri mubemba ambara chibemba, now ri murozi ambara chirozi. Kamuboterwa kobagazwa banyogo kobagazwa bauso. Bumi burabaga boto.
Sure.
All right. We thank you so much, Andrew, that you honored our request to be on the program today, and we are just so humbled that you did to the show.
Oh, anytime. As you got my number, so anytime, reach out.
Awesome. And then we will obviously ask you to stay back just after the show, so that we can have a little bit of a chat and all that as we close. Himba, thanks so much as well that you were part of the program today.
Thank you so much, Lawrence, and thank you so much, viewers. Andrew, Musa, thank you so much. You don't know how much you are influencing a lot of young people, especially people to be identified of where they come from. Among the people you've influenced or inspired Ulumba Kovahila, I'm one of them. And please keep it up, the good job you are doing. And we are
Okay.
proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I also appreciate the presence of Edith Daka, Ruben, who are watching us on Facebook, and we are busy commenting there. Sorry, we didn't get the chance to read your comments and all that, but we appreciate the effort. I also mentioned the Twitter handle Chikashana, who was also busy sending some messages on Twitter there, and we appreciate your presence as well. Thank you so much to everybody who was watching this program, and thank you to the people behind the controls. On behalf of everybody from Ubuntu channel, thank you so much, and hope to see you next week for another edition of Ubuntu Lifestyle. Good night.
Bye-bye.